Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, it's time for another adrenaline rush as I open our grocery box. You know, you've never done me any harm, but I still have to do it. Okay, now this, I'm thinking that prices have gone up, and usually, I'm sure you'll remember, because videos like this are usually burned into your memory. And usually I get change, a few hundred change out of 2,000 pesos. So just think of the numbers rather than the values, because that's what we're dealing with here. No point in translating anything into pounds, pounds sterling, or dollars, US, or whatever, Oz, whatever. What we get is what we get, and that's the whole thing. Now, this came in this because they couldn't get everything into the box. So maybe I did go a little bit over, okay, this time. But anyway, here's our list, and it came out to 2,275. So that was the damage, and I did my usual. What I've been doing is, every time that I go in now and shop for groceries, I've been getting a little bit extra. So I get extra canned food. I know that we won't use it, and I'm building up a little stock. Not going in and panic buying, which is what I'd like to do, but Beth can't see the sense in it. I would go in and I would buy an entire box like this of canned food of the various types. Here, a subsistence level, or you know, the poor man's meal for the family can be a lot of rice on everybody's plate, and believe it or not, as little as that. So that's a small can of sardines in tomato sauce, and maybe one or two of these would actually feed a family of 4 or 5. You know, nobody would get a terrific amount, but they get a touch and a taste of the fish. And welcome to reality in the Philippines when times are hard. The times are hard right now, there's no doubt, there's no question about it. And I can see that there are other people who are buying in the event that maybe things are going to get scarce. And the thing is, things do get scarce because we get used to hearing that phrase, out of stock. Now, if you've been following our videos on what we do, on what we're doing at the police station to try and give those guys a better kitchen and dining area, and changing rooms, and that whole, what was just like a slum that was out the back of the police station, and they asked for our help on that, and they've been working hard with us on our projects, so we were very happy to come in and step in and pay back. So what we've got, let me get back to this in hand, and as I always say, look, they do such a great job of packing. Okay. Right. So as I said, some of this stuff I already unpacked. Right, so I always get noodles. We've got lots of noodles that we haven't eaten, and possibly may not get around to eating. Sometimes in the evening when Beth and I are working late, we might feel like having a snack, and I'll put an egg into a couple of these. We'll mash an egg up into it, and that will be our snack. Or in the afternoon when we get home and we've already had lunch, and we're getting home at say 5:30 or 6, we're not going to eat for a couple of hours, so this sometimes is convenient. This or maybe this. So I got some brownies this time. So on this occasion I have gone out and got some little treats. So I got a Hershey's cream chocolate with whole almonds. This won't be an American Hershey bar, it will be a Philippine Hershey bar. Actually, I'm just looking now and it's 3, so I paid for 3, and I really like a piece of chocolate at the moment. So that's what we did there. This is something that I change at Nana's because they don't think that these have a shelf date. so if I don't change them, they don't get changed. So I got a few of those. What's here? These, and I got some soap powder. So there's the rest of that's the rest of the noodles. Now, for some reason, I think I used to get Kraft cheese. Now they're out of stock. They don't have it. Sometimes I think they go down there and they get what they can. They get what's available, and this is what was available. This was $1 each, so 50 pesos each. So I got 3, and that was obviously 150. Now, the last time I showed you that this is how we buy. This is not coffee, but this is how you buy coffee, and I've got coffee in there the same. So rather than buying things in large bulk, they don't do that, and that way someone can go in and they can just buy, they can buy one of these if they want to. Right, so it's what I call a 1-egg economy. It's possible here to go to a sari-sari store and buy 1 egg, believe me. So this is an energy drink, chocolate flavoured. It's with milk. It has oats, has an oat cereal milk mixed with milk. I think probably I shouldn't have so much milk, but I don't want to keep drinking a lot of coffee, so this is it. This I get for Beth. 1 pack of these is not enough for Beth, and she ends up either using 2 of these or at least 1.5. That's Beth. Okay, I go, and usually these are in good shape. I must have a huge turnover of these because I haven't seen any of those that haven't been fresh, that haven't been in good shape when we get them. So there, I got a couple of drinks. This is apple green tea. So these are not hugely expensive, okay? So if you buy these outside, I think they're 50 cents or something, not very much, and I got a couple of those. Now this is a good example of, I like to get the cranberry juice. At my age, getting up at night is a fact of life, and cranberry juice helps that. If you're my age and you don't know that, then you've learned something of value. You go out and buy cranberry juice, and it is supposed to be good for the kidneys. So I got that. Instead, this is actually 100% grape juice. So they're out of stock on the cranberry juice. What can I do? So I got that instead. Now, what we started to do was, well, I started to have, I got a can of whole corn, and this is just ready to eat corn. You don't have to cook it, you don't have to do anything. And when you're in the Philippines, you get used to eating food cold. It's the way of life. So these are Easy Pop can, and you get a can, and now I would, well, before Beth realised that this wasn't a bad idea, I used to eat the whole can. I'm pigging out. Now, unfortunately, I have to share it with Beth. So I think I got, how many of these? I think I got about 6 of those, because we eat them at night as a kind of a snack when we're working. This I get for Beth because she likes it, and I'll put this in the fridge now. Now you notice that I didn't get any eggs because for some reason we go on and off things, and we haven't been eating many eggs just lately, whereas a lot of the time I'll get up in the morning and I'll have 3 eggs and a can of pork and beans, and we've already gone into the expose on the pork and beans fraud. This is a gigantic fraud being perpetrated on the nation. It's full of beans, admittedly, but the piece of pork is about that big. So I don't know how they get away with that. And I just got a ton of these. Now this was quite expensive. I think this was this is tuna flakes, and when they were showing those, look at that, the labels on upside down. In America you probably get that cheaper because of that. I think that was $1, and I think that was $1 too. So I got those because they can go, these kind of things, the sweet corn, the pork and beans will go with the noodles. But I came up as a single parent, raising a kid in North Hollywood, and we had pork and beans, and we had eggs, and we had noodles, and we had noodles with some sweet corn in it, and an egg, and that was a meal. So this is all canned stuff now. So another, I knew I got what did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 of those because I know that we'll eat them. Now this was a bit of a luxury. It's orange marmalade, and this was nearly $2. So we're looking at, it doesn't have a price on it right now, but very little change out of 100 pesos. But that will last a long time. I actually have some others. This is mango jam, and we have that on toast at times. We can get brown bread, but it's not really. They call it wheaten bread, and it's hardly the rich, chunky wholemeal bread that you can get in America. It just doesn't exist. Of course, in the UK, you'd be talking about getting a Hovis and cutting it yourself. So, sardines. I got a ton of sardines because how many, I didn't even count them, but you can see see there's quite a few, but they'll go into the store. We'll never get rid of those by the time we go again for groceries. And there's our box is empty, that was everything. So that's pretty well everything. I didn't show you one thing. I did get another naughty. This is it's chocolate. It's a chocolate cake, and this will not last very long because we're not very disciplined, and it has chocolate in it. I'll admit to being without control. So that's our groceries, but as I've explained before, this is not really our groceries, because we really go into Taliban every day. It just works out that way, and we go in there every day. And if I don't mention to Beth food, she won't even think about it. So if you're thinking that we get up and we have a lovely breakfast cooked by Nana or cooked by Beth, and we sit there and look out over the hills and eat our eggs and bacon, and you'd be wrong. We don't do that. We get up, I make coffee. Once we went through a spell where, as I said, we had poached eggs, and poached eggs was something that Beth enjoyed. She hadn't had poached eggs before, believe it or not. So we went through that, and she enjoyed that. She is one fussy eater. So if it's not chicken and chips, and if it's not fish, and I mean those little stinky fish, it's hard to get her enthusiastic. So if I would make one egg and beat it into a cup with a little butter, she might try to finish all of it, one egg. Okay, so that was something that I tried to do. I tried to interest her in the kind of cooking that she might have to endure if she went to America or went to the UK. Neither is a possibility, or an intention even, not a plan or a wish. I am living where I want to live. So this is where we are right now. As I say, if I didn't talk about food, we wouldn't have any. And very often we're rolling into Vedasto, our little favourite restaurant, and the time is sometimes 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and that's when we're having breakfast and lunch. And then we won't eat anything then until dinner. And because of the way that things are set up with Nanai and her helper, who is her, I'm never quite sure whether it's her cousin or the daughter of her cousin, or I don't strain my brain when it comes to trying to understand that particular part of the Philippine culture. But everybody is related to everybody, it seems, and so why would I bother trying to understand? But Vek is part of the family. Bek works with Nanai, and she comes in sort of mid-morning, and she really is the housekeeper. Nanai we don't ask to do too much. Nanai, we leave, the main duty for Nanai is stressing about the dogs, because she worries whether they've got fish or some other luxury which even I don't get offered. For me, they've given up on my menu, and I have chicken in a broth with rice. They don't offer me stinky fish, and the soup that they make with malunggay, which is a very, very small leaf, green leaf about as big as my thumbnail, and I see that eaten a lot in a watery kind of soup, and they eat that a lot. They pick it from the garden. It grows on very, very slender, long growing, 6 and 7 feet trunk. That's the tree, and then at the top it suddenly goes like that and has all of these leaves. Well, you just reach up, you bend it over like Desperate Dan in the old comics that I used to have, pluck off some up and then let it go back up and it will replenish itself. So that's all in the garden. We eat at Vedesto, we eat here if we're hungry, and that's why we need groceries here. I eat apples all the time. I use my big knife, my Psycho movie knife, and I peel the apples, and it makes them taste much nicer. And so that, and occasionally some egg I'll cook. I have the tray for the eggs is full in there, that's why I didn't get any. So my conclusion is that things are going up, and I think that they're going up a lot. So I don't know how people are managing out there, but I think that times are getting tough. Okay, well, thanks for looking in and for being with me. I hope by now, as I've tried to talk you down, that the heart rate is coming down after all this excitement, and perhaps you'll be back to normal by the time I get more groceries. Thanks for looking in. Bye for now.